welcome to Mind Your Business, a channel where we are in everybody's business. If you don't mind getting in people's business, you're on the right channel. Talking about current topics and gossip. Well, people, has any event that's happened in Love of Hip Hop gone according to plan? Isn't there always some sort of drama? And of course, Jessica's event was no different. At the end of it, she was crying, and I'm just looking at her like, girl, do you not know what show you're on? This is Love and Hip Hop, please. And Rennie Rucci's back, which is good to see. Anyway, let's talk about it, people. Welcome, people. My Christmas with crew. Let's talk about Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. So the last few weeks has been lots of mix-up as usual. So we saw last week that, Spice and Saucy Santana, they got into it, when they were talking about Zell and him going in the studio with Spice. And then you've got Saucy throwing shade at Spice, chatting about he didn't want to be part of the clownery of the album. And then, of course, that triggered Spice. She got upset. Them two got into a back and forth. And I'm like, whether you like Spice or not, one thing about her, she is a legend in the dancehall scene. She is a legend. She is known worldwide. So I'm like, please, Saucy, you need to chill. Seriously, just chill out. So those two got into it. And of course, we also found out about Karlie Red being married and acting a fool, because you know what she's like when it comes to men. This woman is somebody that consistently has a man, consistently is in a mix-up. Getting rings, definitely getting rings. She's definitely a ring collector. Call her Thanos. She definitely is collecting those rings, but now she has gotten married to this young guy. This week, I thought it was interesting because when she met up with Zell, that had me cracking up because Zell was something else. I mean, Karlie is just ridiculous because obviously she's vexed now with Zell because she's heard from Amy that Zell is in the studio with one of her enemies, who happens to be one of her current husband's exes. So she's upset, chatting about pick sides. I'm like, what do you mean pick sides? Come on now, girl. You are the messiest one on the show. You have always been in a mix-up, and you're the first to be like, oh, but I'm friends with you and I'm also friends with that person and all that kind of stuff. So, what's going on here? What is going on? But Zell was not having it. He was cracking me up. Between him calling her 55-year-old, doing IVF, having hot flushes. Next minute, he said that she's 7 years old and she's dating a man in his 20s. I was like, Lord have mercy. Calling her grandma, and that she, what is she doing with this young guy? He's out here, he's in the streets, and what he's hearing. I'm just like, Lord have mercy. And we know what Karlie Red's like when it comes to a man, she turned full. That is it. She turned full. She dashed away everybody because of her husband. So Karlie is just Karlie. And she's always acting like these girls are causing beef. But we know she's an investigator. So we know that she's going to go out there and try to find these girls and say little things to antagonise them as well. It's just a lot. I'm like, Karlie, you're not getting younger. Fix up your backside, because this whole behaviour, you need to grow up. It's ridiculous. Talking about growing up, Zayn, that little Zayn, to me, he is just a grown child. That is it. He's a man-child, right? He's a grown child, very immature, very irritating. And so we see him on a double date with a new couple. We know the new couple, Nova, and his wife. His wife is very insecure. She don't want to let him out of her sights. But yet we saw a clip of them in the studio at the beginning of the episode. And I was thinking, your wife mustn't know about this because there are females in here. She would be losing her top. Anyway, at the double date, you've got, Ashley turns up. And it made me laugh because Nova's like, oh, yeah, I want to go on a double date with another married friend, and he's the only married friend. I'm like, this is not the best example. This man is not even living with his wife. He's out of the house. You don't clearly know this because when Ashley comes and we're chatting about, we're making plates for your house, she's like, yeah, well, no, he's having to fill you in that they're not even living together. So of course your wife's looking at you like, is this kind of people you're hanging out with? Is this what we're dealing with? So I'm just like, you're not a hot mess. There's so many newbies at the moment that I'm just getting a little bit irritated by it, because it's just where are all these so-called friendships coming from? Because next minute we see Ashley hanging out with Saucy Santana. I'm like, when did you not become friends? And Jasmine somehow has managed to just worm her way onto the show. You were the shy chick, we know this. This happened years ago, how she made the point. But at the end of the day, you're still up in the show trying to get into Rashida's circle of people. I just don't understand it. Why are you there? It's just so strange to me. I get she can go and live her life and do her thing, but why is she on the show? Anyway, so we see them not link up, and they chat about, men not being held accountable, and her saying that, when she met Kirk, he was making it seem like, they were on the outs. But either way, they were married, and you chose to have a child by a married man. So you just need to be accountable for that part. Yes, it happened years ago, but you still did the shit. And then, of course, they're talking about Mendices as well, because obviously there's rumours about him chatting to other people. We know from last time when she brought along her friend who said that, is her friend or a friend who, he was chatting to, whatever. Now, one thing I will say that I feel like Saucy and Jasmine and Ashley were right about is that actually the men do need to be held accountable, because I do feel like whilst everyone is shunning Jasmine and don't want to deal with Jasmine, at the end of the day, it was Kirk's fault. It was his mistake that done this whole situation. Now they have a child together. Fair play. She doesn't have to be in their circle, though. I don't know why she feels like she wants to be in their circle. That, to me, is weird. A very weird behaviour. But, I feel like they do take it lighter on the men than the females. But we also know from last week that Jessica shared that apparently Mendices tried to move to her niece. So in this episode, we see Denise at the event that she was hosting, her magazine event that went to complete shit. And while they're there, of course, Saucy's sharing about the mix-up that he had with Spice and saying how she's always in the middle of shit, which made me laugh because fast forward to later on at Jessica's event and, Jessica tries to introduce Jasmine and her niece. I'm like, why are you introducing Jasmine? You know that the ladies don't really want to be around Jasmine because the whole, side chick situation, they're not really keen on her. Spice didn't look up at all. As soon as she heard Jasmine, she just kept her head down with her hood over. So I'm like, Spice, you're doing the most. You didn't have to acknowledge Jasmine. You could have just looked up, said hello to the niece, and kept it moving like a grown woman. I just feel like the way she was behaving was just doing too much. Like, I get it, Kirk and Rashid are your friends. So's Yandy and Mendices, and we know that Jasmine's been linked to, her friend, trying to defend her friend or a friend who apparently he was chatting to. So if that's your friend, you're not going to want to be friendly with the person who was sleeping with your friend's husband or tries to cause mix-up with your other friend's relationship. So that I get. But all this extraness and, trying to make a point of, like, keeping the hood down to the point where Jessica's like, Spice, is my niece. It's just like, oh, you lot are just doing a lot. And then, of course, fast forward to at the ending when Jasmine comes over to Shekinah to say, oh, what's going on? And Spice is saying, oh, well, she's my friend, like, and pulling in Shekinah. I'm like, this is childish. Like, what is going on? And then she wants to fight Jasmine. I'm like, Spice, how is this your argument? This is not your argument. The woman didn't sleep with your man. She might have slept with your friend's man, but she didn't sleep with your man. And even Rashida don't even go like this when she sees her. Where's all this energy coming from? And why? Like, it's just giving misplaced. I don't understand it. Ride for your friends, but not to this extent. It's ridiculous. Like, your friend doesn't even ride for herself like this. It makes no sense. So I just felt like it was a whole big mess. And, it just all went left. It made me laugh when you got Shekinah, who's trying to sit down on Spice, literally having to sit on her lap to stop her from getting up to fight people. I'm like, come on now, Spice. You're out here chatting about your legend and you are Grammy nominated and you are a legend in the dancehall scene. No one can deny you that. But why are we out here, acting like this? It's just too much. And I feel like Spice is triggered because of, Saucy quitting her album Clannery, and then you had Jock who was saying he didn't want to be part of this album and it's kind of foolishness. So I think she's pissed off about that and she's pissed off about everything, about those things. And so now she's like, right, let me just go at Jasmine, because what was that about? Whilst Jasmine is irritating, I just didn't see the need for that. Renee. Now, it was good to see Renee's back. I think that she's really sweet. It was nice when she brought her baby round to meet Spice and Shekinah and Kendra. I thought that was quite cute. However, her talking about Sierra and how Sierra's been behaving, I was like, yeah, it's ridiculous, because I don't understand why Sierra's acting like she's hard done by at the beginning of the show, talking to Bambi about, oh yeah, I haven't spoken to Renee. And then we hear from Renee that actually Renee has been trying to reach out to her and she's ignoring her and she's just upset with her because of what she said about not letting her babysit her child. Like, grow up. She's always got to make herself a victim. I don't understand it. I'm like, Sierra, grow up, like, fix up. I feel like Renee has more right to be upset with you than you at her for making a little joke in the commentary section. Like, come on, it's not that serious. It's just giving foolishness. Like, what is she doing? So we'll get to see what happens with them next week. It doesn't look too good, but I hope they sort that out, because it doesn't make no sense, because they were friends and you can tell that Renee's kind of like looking at her sideways, like, hold on, I've reached out to you, so we're just TV friends, like, what's really happening? So Renee's the only one that it seems like who has common sense on this show half the time anyway. So yeah, I just don't understand how Spice is going hard like that. I understand that you've got your friends back in the sense that you don't want to socialise with this girl, because I won't want to socialise with no one who's was a side chick to my friends either. But I'm not going to be making a scene or going on like I'm going to try and fight the girl For what reason? Jasmine's like, well, what have I done to you? And I'm like, you know what? Well, she hasn't done anything to you personally, so she shouldn't be carrying on like that. You cannot want to associate with a girl, but you have to behave in that manner. It's ridiculous. And for Jessica, well, you messed up your event, but not completely because, you know, at the end she did her little speech and she made it through. But Jessica is something else as well. I'm just like, you're floating all over the place. You know, now you're hanging out with the side chick crew and Erica. And I'm just like, what is going on? It's all very, very confusing. And where is Chaotic? What is going on with Chaotic? How come we haven't seen Chaotic? Like, since him and Scrappy had that little fallout, we haven't seen him. Anyway, of course, went to go check out social media to see what people were saying on there. Here are some tweets that had me cracking up. Okay, so you've seen those and you've heard what I have to say. Now, what are you saying about the show? Let me know your thoughts below. Yes, so thanks for watching that. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, and hit that notification bell so you know when I am uploading some more of people's business. So until then, my nosy people, stay blessed.